Hello guys, I'm Stark and I'm here to do a very quick review, like a 10-minute review of the update 51737, which now starts with the introduction of two new civilizations, which are the Poles and also the Bohemians. And I'm going to make a small tech tree analysis of those civs in the following minutes. But please, let's go over and understand what is changing. Here we have a lot of blah blah blah. They say they are fixing the game. Bullshit. Let's go for the gameplay. So pretty much surgeons that are spawned for the first crusade, the Lithuanian one of the Lithuanian unit upgrades, are not going to spawn with the aggressive stance. So they're actually going to the default unit stance. My default is probably aggressive, so this won't change much. But if you are the kind of guy that just spawn units on defensive stance and so on, this should probably annoy you, and it's not going to annoy you anymore. Regarding going above and beyond, one of the cheat codes is also available to all the players. I never tested one, I don't know what it does. So let's go for the campaign stuff as well. So actually we are switching some of the new civs to the brave representations of those. So in Genghis Khan Mission 5, he actually had to fight versus the Poles and also versus the Bohemians, but if I'm not mistaken, they were probably represented by Goth and Teutons or just Teutons, and now they are actually going to be represented with the correct civilizations, which is quite nice. That's a new addition. I can even play the campaign some of these times for some nostalgic feelings, but of course against new units. And on Barbarossa as well, you are actually going to have Bohemian being represented by Bohemians and Poland being represented by the Poles. Here, I'm pretty sure that they were represented by the Goths. I don't know how this would change, but it was quite nice to fight versus Hurskalls using the Teutonites. I would not change that. And Vio as well, and so on. But let's go, guys, to the civilization balance. I have made a video, and I'm going to link it here, about the leaks. So it seems that the rumors were true, and many of the things that we saw are actually changing. So elite step lancers getting buffed, hand canoneers getting buffed, bullet projectile speed getting buffed as well. Hoda, the Burmese technology for elephant, also getting stronger. Byzantine receiving free... No, not receiving free town patrol. Oh yeah, free town patrol. And also they are correcting the HP of watchtowers and castle and so on. I'm just not going over that, but let's go for the huge ones. A huge nerf to the Chinese. Instead of having plus 45 food, they're just actually getting a nerf on this unit bonus. They're just going to have like 70.5 extra food on Dark Age and 2.25 extra food after horse collar. So the Chinese farms are not OP anymore. And guys, this is one of the biggest change in the game. The human civilizations ranges and stables cost now less 100 wood. This means that, for example, if you're playing Empire Wars, you can just make a start by dropping immediately a stable and an archer range, so humans are going to be a lot more viable and flexible on some other game modes, and it can also help you to make 2TCs together with army on Feudal Age and try out some new stuff. Lithuanians that now have the Winged Russar, but they lose access to the Blast Furnace technology. The late is also getting some buffed. Maidens are going to have gold that lasts longer, so it will be almost impossible to kill a maiden. His gold will never end. And regarding units, Sicilians have extra 100 stone, that was also confirmed. And organ gun, they now deal 2 damage as opposed to 1 or 2 depending whether they hit primary target. So, well, the secondary projectiles of organ guns are getting stronger, which means that they are actually getting a buff. Oh, what? Sicilians, civilization now receive access to the siege onager upgrade. Guys, tell me if I'm crazy, but didn't they already had that? I think that they already had that. Anyway, I may be crazy, huh? And technologies, we have now Scutage, which is a new upgrade that will replace Halberg technology. Scutage is actually being replaced by Halberg, and Halberg is actually granting knights extra 1 melee armor and extra 2 pierce armor. This means that those knights from the Sicilians are gonna get some heavy buff. Let's just check if they are losing cavaliers or something, because if they still have the cavaliers, they are going to be incredibly strong. So Sicilians, guys, are back to the game, and they are going to be very annoying. So yes, you do have cavaliers, and you do have now the upgrade called Halberg. 500 food to 400 gold, and you are actually getting extra 2 pierce armor. Let me see if they lost plate Barding armor or something, because if they didn't, those cavaliers are going to be OP. Okay, those cavaliers are OP. Confirm it. On random map we have a lot of small stuff here, but basically we have autumn season included now. So if you like the autumn, well, you can actually play Arabia on the autumn as well. And of course we have lots of stuff. Small changes in the maps regarding the balance. Minor aesthetic changes, for example, in Frigid Lakes, so they're quite vague. We know it's very difficult to understand what's happening here. Minor aesthetics change, minor aesthetics change. I don't know how much of this is changing, but pretty much what I wanted to tell you guys is that we have the things confirmed, the leaks confirmed. And regarding modding, okay, forgot about that. Oh my god. Okay, forgot that, guys. Let's go straight for the analysis of the tech tree of both Bohemians and Polish, so that we can understand what's happening. Let's start here with the Bohemians, which are one of the new civilizations. And regarding Bohemians, basically, let's see, they are their category is gunpowder and monk civilization. This means that they are pretty much going to be very useful on arena and closed maps. That's what I expect. And it seems that their blacksmith, monasteries, and universities cost less 100 wood. This can be helpful to make a fast castle, since you need less wood for the blacksmith. It's easier to go for strategies such as double monastery or even triple monasteries on arena and maps such as those, since they are cheaper. And university is cheaper. That isn't so big deal, because usually that can be helpful in the early castle age, but nothing else. Chemistry and hand cannoneer are available on castle age. Holy shit. This is very different from everything that I have seen. This pretty much means, guys, that, okay, now this makes sense. If you have the cheaper university, you can afford it, make research chemistry, and you can actually have a good counter, which is the hand cannoneer, to use versus some heavy infantry compositions. And also, since you have chemistry for free, this means that if you have already the archer upgrades, that you can make a crossbowman as strong as a Kamandarian crossbowman, since you are going to have extra attack. So their crossbowmen might be quite strong, might be difficult to counter them, and Goths are going to struggle a lot versus this specific civilization, since they will have to deal with hand cannoneers on castle age. So this is quite interesting. And since you are probably going to have chemistry already on castle age, this can also accelerate when you are booming and you want to drop cannons. You can click Impure Age, start researching chemistry, and by the moment you reach Impure Age, you will be automatically be able to spamming cannons, such like a Turk stuff, and so on. The Spearman line deals extra 25% bonus damage, so this means that the composition of siege, monks, and arbalests, together with the pikemen and now halberdier, which also have the upgrades, are actually going to deal extra bonus damage. So cavalry is probably not going to be the best call against this civilization. Fervor and Sensity affect villagers. Really? If that's true, it means that your villagers are actually going to move faster and receive extra HP. Like, Sensity actually adds 50% extra HP, so you're going to have 60 HP vills. This means that your civilization will actually endure a lot more raidings, attacks, and it will be easier to save your villagers or to drop a aggressive castle and so on. Mining camp technologies are also free. So this also is a good upgrade for booming and for going to castle drop and fast Imperial Age strategies. Bohemians are probably going to be very, very popular on arena, guys. Very, very popular. As unique units, they have the Hussite Wagon, which is a siege weapon, and also the Half Nice, which is a bombard cannon. Let's take a look on those stats. Starting with the Half Nice, I get it should be fully nice to be a better one, but it's pretty much a bombard cannon that is upgraded here. You need to upgrade a bombard cannon for 950 food, 750 gold, and then you are going to have a way stronger bombard cannon. It's strong versus buildings and other siege weapons, and well, I guess we need some tests here. But I don't see much changes from the bombard cannon. It adds extra HP, it adds extra melee armor, it adds extra pierce, not extra pierce armor, but it also adds, yes, it adds extra pierce armor, extra attack, I don't know. Some small upgrade, I don't know how stronger than regular bombard cannons this will be, but it's quite expensive, so we're going to have to take some time to do it. What else we have here? As unique technologies, we also have here Weinberg Tactics, which costs 300 food and 300 gold, and it makes gunpowder units to move 15% faster. That's interesting. Combine it with your Castle Age hand canoneers, you actually can perform a lot of good strategies on the early Imperial Age as well. Another thing that will make them popular on Arena, and also this is a big boost to cannons. And we also have Hussite reforms. 800 food, 450 gold, quite expensive, but monks and monastery upgrades have their gold cost replaced by food. This is quite interesting. Let's see. Let's say that you have faith, illumination, block printing, theocracy, maybe you haven't made heresy, so pretty much if you're playing arena you might do this upgrade to switch to replace the gold cost for food. This actually helps you to save extra gold. Maybe for 1v1 can be used, but I feel like it's too expensive. I don't know how to feel about this one. And the markets work 80% faster, and this is interesting because what does a market do? Well, it has the upgrades and make trade cards. If those markets are able to spend trade cards 80% faster, this actually means that Bohemians might become a very interesting civilization for team games, especially for late game team games that will allow your team to spend trade cards faster. They have all the eco upgrades, including guilds, but also they only lack actually crop rotation. Regarding the monastery, a full monastery civ, so they are probably going to be popular on arena. The Hussite Wagon is a Bohemian siege unit. Units behind it receive 50% less damage from incoming projectiles. So pretty much you can use this Hussite Wagon as a shield for your army when trading. So I can imagine this being spammed on the early Imperial Age for those arbalest and skirmisher fights. Might be interesting. And it has like 7 pierce armor and 17 attack. Seems very strong. Some very good stats for this price. Feels like a boosted Korean wagon, you know. And it doesn't seem to need any upgrade like fletching and so on. Siege is a siege unit. I believe that because of this cost being so low on wood, this might become a very OP unit. They have all the keep towers, they have all the bombard towers, they have most of the university stuff. They seem to be quite good. Okay, on water, finally some nerfs on the civilization. They actually lack fast fire ship and heavy demo ship, which can be a small nerf. And they also lack the plate Barding armor, so with this civilization you'll most likely be playing with archer line, siege line, infantry, but not with cavalry, okay? So I'm not expecting you to use cavalry. Forget these cavaliers, they also lack bloodlines, so if you got Bohemians, forget about this table, focus on playing with your ranged units and try to reach the post-Imperial Age so that you can play with the siege. They also lack, guys, Cavalry Archer. It's one of the few civilizations that I have seen so far that lack Cavalry Archer and also Thumb Ring. So their Arbalests are no better than Khmer Arbalests. Pretty much This civilization is going to force you to play with elite skirmisher, hand cannoneer, cannons, halbs, but it's completely suited for the arena gameplay. The mining camp technologies being free is not so helpful for Arabia kind of games, but this is quite great if you play a more closed maps. So arena lovers, rejoice, Bohemians are around here, are already here. Let's take a look on the poles. So the poles, pretty much, you have the cavalry civilization. They are defined as a cavalry civilization. It's interesting because they actually have arbalest, Rev Cav Archer, and Tumbling, so they also have Bracer. It doesn't care if they are defined as a cavalry civ. You have Bracer, you have Tumbling, you lack Parton Tactics, but pretty much you can perform a very good arbalest play or even Rev Cav Archer play here, so quite strong. Their villagers regenerate 5 HP per minute on Dark Age, 10 on Feudal, and 15 on Castle Age, and 20 on Imperial Age. This actually means that you can actually pick some small view fights and be ahead than your opponent because your villagers are going to be regenerating, which is interesting. You also have the full wark, which replaces a mill. This is interesting. We have seen this in the trailer, so let's take a look here on the mill, or where the mill should be, and try to find the full wark. There we go. Instead of having the mill, guys, we actually have the full wark. It's a more expensive mill. It actually costs 125 wood. Use it to deposit food and research farming technologies. And this is crazy because it immediately collects 10% of the food from nearby newly constructed farms. And also, this extra wood cost doesn't matter because they actually provide 5 population. And they also boost the speed which we are going to use here to gather the other stuff, it seems. Since it says that building near forage butchers or other source of food to gather food faster. I don't know. They actually also have like 1000 HP versus like 600 or 600 for a mining camp. So they are way stronger than a mill. And collecting 10% of a farm immediately, it seems like quite a boost, you know. Let's say that you just make 4 farms on Dark Age around this mill, around this full work. It means that you were pretty much going to achieve like 70, just going to get instantly 70 food. This might become more and more OP as game goes by, because when you have like crop rotation, your farms are going to have a lot more food. So immediately after building a farm, you're just going to get like extra 50 food and so on. This is going to be crazy OP. Regarding the eco, they lack the gold shaft mining and they also lack the two-man saw, but their farm seems quite well. The lack of two-man saw might actually hurt a bit on the post-Imperial Age, but not before that. The farms might be able to compensate. Stone miners generate gold in addition to stone. Like what? This is crazy. This means that if you are actually collecting stone, you are also going to generate small trickles of gold. I don't know how much this gold will be, but this can be very significant, especially for 1v1s. And let's make an analysis here about the unique units. They actually have 2. The Obuch, which is the castle unit, the castle infantry. So Obuch is an infantry which is quite cheap, like only 20 gold. This is very cheap. It means that you can pretty much be spamming those guys for quite some time. And guys, look at those stats. They actually have 8 melee armor. Oh no, 8 attack. I'm crazy. Screw that. Only 8 attack, only 2 armor and 2 melee armor, 2 pierce armor, so nothing so fancy. They actually get upgraded, but doesn't receive extra armor. They have quite the HP, like 80 HP and 95 HP, and it says that they can actually damage the armor of the units they are fighting. This is interesting. The strong versus building infantry. They damage the armor. I need to try this out to find out how this actually works. But by the way, guys, the Poles also have the monastery here with redemption, sanctity, but they do like heresy, so they are going to become an easy prey for for clowns. And they also have the winged Russar. This one is quite popular, but let's understand. And what the fuck? Okay, I believe they are just designing this civilization quite poorly, because what the fuck is this? they have the winged Ruser, right? But they have the light cavalry, which has 2 pierce armor. Then you upgrade this to a winged Ruser, which also has only 2 pierce armor. But then you lack, guys, the plate Barding armor. What's the point of having this extra strength versus archers if you lost the armor? The civilization is very poorly designed. Giving a cavalry civ the lack of plate Barding armor, it's a huge bad stuff in my opinion. I don't like this at all. I could totally just erase Bracer and replace it with plate Barding armor, like reduce the ranged units capabilities and enforce the winged Ruser power here. So they might not even have the strongest winged Ruser on the game. Winged Ruser, guys, which will be the replacement for Ruser. It's a bit more expensive than the Ruser upgrade, and it actually has extra capabilities. Basically, they are going to have the same amount of HP, not so different attack. But they have the team bonus, which is Scout Cavalry, Light Cavalry, and Roosters actually get 1 extra attack versus Archer. I believe that these might actually be good for the early game, but the lack of plate Barding armor is a huge throw-off for me. I feel like they are just not so well designed. They also have some 2 interesting technologies here, which is Slacha privileges. So Slacha privileges actually reduces the cost of your knights in 60%, and it costs how much? It costs 500 food and 300 gold. This can actually allow you to keep making knights for longer, but let's make a small calculation here. The knight costs 75 gold, so 6% of that is what? I don't know. Let's get a calculator. 0.6, 0.75. You're actually reducing 45 cost from your knights, so you pretty much will be able to make knights by only using like 30 gold. This is quite interesting, but once again, what's the point of making knights like cheaper knights or cheaper cavaliers if you lack the plate Barding armor? This is pretty much useless on Imperial Age. The Poles, guys, are going to underperform. And they also have Lactic Tactics, which allows the light cavalry to deal trample damages. So light cavalry line, and I believe that also this applies to the winged Rooster, will be able to do the trample damage, which is the same thing that elephants and also the cataphracts do, you know, this area damage when they attack a unit and they also reach the adjacent ones. I think that they're not going to be so strong anyway. With this upgrade, I might actually start getting some good trades, but the lack of plate Barding armor is a huge issue for the civilization, and I believe that this will just make them not so viable anymore. So that's the review for the Poles. Not so excited. Bohemians, good arena civ. Poles, I believe that their farms and this word mill here might actually give them some huge boost. Being able to actually get gold as you collect stone might also be helpful for the economy. We can even experience some different builds using this, but I cannot get over the fact that this civilization doesn't have the last cavalry armor. How can you be a cavalry civilization without that? Sicilians are the new cavalry civ of this patch and not the Poles. A bit disappointed on the design of the Poles. Let's compare them, for example, with the Lithuanians, guys. The Lithuanians will actually have the winged Rooster now, but this winged Rooster from the Lithuanians will actually have the plate Barding armor. So pretty much the winged Rooster from the Lithuanians might be stronger than the one from the Poles. Maybe if you are just analyzing Rooster versus Rooster and with all the upgrades of the Poles like the trample damage, they can even win in the 1v1. Once you add a few skirmishers or archers to both sides, the Poles are not going to perform. I would completely get down with the Arbalests, Revic of Archer, and even Bracer in order to get the civilization some cavalry identity and the +4 armor. So that was my first review and the first impressions of Poles and Bohemians. I hope you guys enjoy it.